Hi, welcome to Walmoore Holsteins. My name is Caitlin. I'm one of the employees here and I will be guiding you on your tour today. Walmoore Holsteins is a dairy farm located in West Grove, Pennsylvania. It is owned and operated by Walt and Ellen Moore. It's a family-owned operation. We milk about a little over 1,000 Holstein cows. The Holsteins are these black and white dairy cows here. We also have about 800 young stock, which are some younger animals that will eventually grow up to be part of the milking herd. Here we milk our cows 3 times a day, and we probably make about 80,000 pounds a day. We work with landowns who will take our milk and use it for a lot of their products. So out here is where the calves go right after they are born. They are fed colostrum and they're vaccinated to help boost their immunity right after being born. The hutches are really nice. They're kind of individual pens that allows us to give them individualized care their first week. They're only here a week until they drink really strong and they kind of are independent enough to be put in a group pen. So out here they have an option to go inside, stay outside. They have access to fresh water. We don't start them on grain right here since they're only here for a week. They'll start on grain when they go to their group pen. It's really nice, and by individualizing them, it does allow us to kind of separate disease. That way, if one of them gets sick, the chances of them spreading to the other calves is pretty low compared to if they were together in a pen. So this is the barn they go to after being in the hutches. They either come here or they go to our calf raiser. We do have an overflow at another facility. So here we bed all the pens. It's a big giant pen of sawdust and corn fodder. It's very comfortable for them to lay in. They can kind of lay wherever they choose. There is an option for them to go inside and outside. Outside they do have their milk bars, which are just areas where they can drink their milk. It's like a big bottle for them. They'll be on milk about 8 weeks. After 8 weeks, we do wean them off milk and start them on more adult food. They're offered grain throughout the whole time here, but when they're off milk, we do start them on hay. The facility is really nice here. There's a lot of really good ventilation. Not only do we have the whole front of it open, but then we also have these big fans that kind of bring the air down from the second level here to kind of help move air around, especially in the summertime when it's hot. And in the wintertime, the stone in the barn does a really good job of insulating things in here to keep things really warm and comfortable for them. Okay, here's our heifer facility. This is where they come after the calf barn. So they kind of start here around 4 months old and they'll stay here till about 10 months old. They start off with hay and grain, as they were at the other farm. And as they get a little bit older, they'll start on TMR, which is basically just this mixture of different types of plants and minerals to kind of give them a more balanced diet. Every pen has little individual beds for them to sleep in. Each bed has a little bit of a mattress on top and then some sawdust to keep them comfortable. Throughout the pens there are fans to keep them cool during the summertime. And then there's curtains on the back that can go down during the winter when it's cold and up in the summer when it's warm. So it really keeps this barn really comfortable for them. They all have access to clean water and there's food available for them all day long. Each pen will move together so they're with the same calves they grow up with. This is the breeding heifer facility. This is where they go when they're old enough to be bred. And once they're pregnant, they will be placed in the pen to my left here, just to kind of hang out until they're about 2 months before they're due, and then they'll go to the big dairy. So here they have access to food all day long. They have the TMR like the younger heifers did. They're just going to continue that the rest of their life. And they'll have the free stalls again with the mattress underneath with the sawdust on top. And there's a whole bunch of fans along the free stalls to keep them comfortable when it's warm out. And then once again, they have the curtains above the free stalls to kind of let the ventilation come through during the summertime and kind of keep the warmth in the wintertime. Sporadically, there's water throughout the facility too that they have access to 24/7. They kind of just come in here and hang out. I mean, they're the same calves that they grew up with, so they're very familiar with each other. It's good. Hi. This pen is where we have our cows and heifers that are getting ready to have their babies. They come in here about 4 weeks before they're due to have their baby, and they kind of just hang out here until they start having their baby. Once we see them, looks like they're about ready to have the baby, we'll move them into an individual stall over here to give them a little bit of privacy, a little bit of space to kind of have the baby. It's really nice because there's a lot of fans in here. This whole wall over here is open, which allows a lot of air to come through, so it keeps the cows really comfortable while they're in here. And the open pens allows us to be able to see the cow without having to really get in her space to kind of see if she needs help or not. A lot of times we try to let them have them on their own, but obviously if they need help, we're here to help them. Out here is one of our mature cow pens. We have quite a few of these throughout the farm to accommodate for all the milking cows that we have. Each pen holds about a little over 100 cows. So every pen has the sand beds that allows them to kind of pick and choose where they want to sleep. The sand is really comfortable. It's pretty cool, especially in the summer months, and then it allows them extra cushioning when they want to sleep in there. They have access to fresh feed every day, all day long. And they also have waters throughout the pen that they can choose from. In this pen specifically, there are 3 different waters at both ends and in the middle. And then in the summertime, we do have sprinklers above the feed bunk. That kind of keeps them cooler around the summertime, kind of helps cool them down when it's really hot. And in addition, we have fans sporadically throughout the pen to kind of help keep them cool throughout the summer. We also have curtains that can come down in the wintertime to keep them warm. And it's really nice in the summertime because we can pull them up and allows ventilation and fresh air to come through the barn. To clean the pens, we do have a flush system that when the cows leave for milking, one of the guys will run the flush system and actually wash out all of the poop from the pen. So it keeps everything really nice and clean and comfortable for them.
I'm going to show you our double 18 parallel milking parlor and a little bit about the prep of and how we milk our cows here. So on the left side here, the group is just being milked, and they're walking out and exiting. And then we have Carlos and Pablo in here milking this morning. And then they'll start bringing in another group of cows from the back. They'll walk in single file. You can look over here on the right, and you can see the milker machine. This cow's being milked. So this is called a milking unit or a milking claw. This is the claw part. These are called inflations. This is up on the cow's teats. Cows have 4 teats, part of her udder. And you can see the milk's kind of surging. And you may be able to hear in the background a noise. Well, that's what's going on here is we have a vacuum hose which sucks the milk out, but we also have a pulsator hose, and that's these are the air tubes which makes the pulsation work. So what happens is it simulates a calf milking, so it's squeezing in and out instead of a constant suction. This cow's almost done milking. You can see the very little flow of milk coming into the claw right now. And in a moment, the computer knows when her milk flow gets to a certain rate, it'll stop milking. When that happens, the vacuum shuts off, and a couple seconds later, this rope will pull up, and it'll take the unit off of the cow. When she's done, then we come back in with what we call a post teat dip. There, it removed the machine, and we'll post dip this cow with this dip, which is a sanitizing solution basically, and it's a protectant that we want to put on the cow's teats to help her fend off any bacteria that might get on her teat ends in the next half hour to an hour. The cow's teat will naturally close up in about 20 minutes. So this is good for about an hour. So it allows that cow to helps her fend off any bad pathogens that we don't want her to get an infection or what we call mastitis in the udder. If she gets mastitis, we're not able to sell that milk for human consumption. So Carlos is going to jump down here behind us. So guys are just cleaning off the area where the cows are being milked. So we call that a deck flush system. As you can see, it's spraying. And then they're also using the hoses to clean off too. So just getting ready for that next group to come in. So Pablo just opened the back gate up. The cows will start walking single file. Of course, they're a little tentative because there's extra people here in the parlor. They're not used to extra people. They're used to the same folks every day. So, but they'll come on up, and then they'll make a right-hand turn on this side, or 90-degree turn, so that the guys were able to get to their udder and be able to prep their teats for milking and put the machines on. So there you go. You can see them turning, and then they'll start prepping here in a minute. So Carlos, our prep procedure here is for him to use these microfiber towels, and he wipes each teat off, dry wipes them. And there's 18 cows on the side, so he'll do the first 9, and then he'll come back here, and then he'll continue the next step of the procedure, which we'll show you here as soon as he gets to cow 9. Basically, we're trying to get any heavy dirt or debris off of the cow's teats. So the idea is to get them as clean and sanitized before we attach the machine, so that the milk is very, very clean, and that also helps the cow from getting an infection. possible mastitis infection in the future. So now he has what we call a foamer, which has a different type of teat dip on, and you can see it's blue in color. So that has a very quick it's a very quick sanitizer, and it takes about 30 seconds for it to um, sanitize or kill any bacteria that's on the teat end. So then he's also what we're calling stripping, as you can see, a couple squirts of milk out of each teat. What that does is tells the cow, hey, it's time for me to be milked, and it takes her about 90 seconds to be ready from when he does the stripping to say, hey, I need to let my milk down and be able to milk. So once he gets done 9 cows, he'll come back to the front here and then wipe that sanitizer teat dip off, as we call it, and then he'll start attaching the machine. That's a chlorine dioxide based teat dip. That's one of the common ones, and another common one is an iodine based. So very common kind of household items that we use, obviously formulated for this purpose, but we use them to sanitize the teats and clean everything up so that everybody's getting nice clean milk. So now he'll come back, he'll grab a new clean towel, and then he'll start wiping them off and attaching the milking unit. So he wipes them off, flips the towel, does it a second time. Then he'll push the button up there, and it's changed the cow number from 1099 to 1783 because this is a new cow. And then if you watch right down here, the milk starts to flow into the unit. So she's getting a good letdown immediately. She's well prepped. She says, hey, it's time to milk. Then if we scan back up here, you'll see that this is starting to count up. So she's given a pound of milk so far, and she'll start 1.3. It counts in 3/10 increments. And then, so you get the idea. Now, Carlos is continuing to move down. He's attached a second cow, now a third cow. You can hear the vacuum start up when he turns it on, and you can also hear the pulsation noises. So the average time that the milking machine is on a cow is about 5.5 minutes. And then, as I said earlier, that the machine knows, the computer knows when she's done being milked, and it will shut the vacuum off and remove it automatically. So you can see this cow's milking right along. So each of our cows has an ear tag, and they have a red collar on with a red transponder. You can probably see there. So that transponder is a computer chip. When they come in the milking parlor to be milked, it reads that chip is transponder is unique to each cow. So for example, when this is the last cow that got milked, whenever we push this button to start the milking, it identifies the cow number, and then it resets this to 0. And as she's milking, we have a milk meter down here, and that reads and counts how many pounds of milk she gave. So the last cow here gave 32.2 pounds of milk while she was milking. For example, this cow here, number 1276, gave 39.8. So most of our cows are milked 3 times a day. So generally you would get that cow's giving about 3 times that amount of milk in a day. So to give you an example, milk weighs 8.6 pounds per gallon. So just on rough numbers, that last cow was giving almost 100 pounds a day, or about 12 gallons a day.
Yeah. So in here is where the milk goes after we milk the cows. So it comes from a line coming out of the parlor into this filter system, which kind of filters out any kind of extra stuff that was in there. And it runs to this pipe underneath this first tank here, and will go to this cooling system. This cooling system helps cool the temperature from 100 degrees, but comes out of the cow to about 100 degrees. And then it'll cool about 50 degrees, where then it's put into these big tanks here, which are then cooled down to about 35 to 40 degrees. It kind of keeps the milk cool and fresh for when it goes to the plant. So from in here, the milk will actually go out through the line here and into these trucks. Our farm hauls our own milk instead of having a company come out and do it themselves. We just ship it directly from the farm to the plant. So we come out here, We ship out about probably close to 80,000 pounds of milk a day. There's 2 different tractor trailers. We send out 1 to 2 depending on the day.